Here for Buffalo. Clark lofts it in. Leach after it. Took the man off. Clark trying to center it. Deflected by Jerry Korath. Korath up the middle to Luce. Luce saw Van Impe coming. Got the pass to Care. Put the brakes on before he got racked. And Ramsey knocks Leach off. Buck and scraps forward over there. Leach is back in it now. He goes down once more. And Ramsey still digging. Got it loose with Van Impe. Centering try blocked by Van Impe. Ramsey went to the blue line with him, but Schoenfeld had come outside. Schoenfeld to Korath. Korath to Luce, trying to break Luce. Here's Luce in the backhand. The shot, he missed the net. Good chance for Buffalo there. Schoenfeld banks it off the glass. It goes out of play. And Luce, with a burst of speed, had a pretty good angle there on the backhand side with two wingers with him, Ted.
Good shot, because it's the toughest shot, Tim, for a goaltender to stop, because a player very quickly can keep it low, he can put it high, put it on the short side or on the long side.
He doesn't see it quite as soon either, does he, Ted? Because the puck is pulled behind him more.
That is right.
Perreault, Martin, and Robert now against McLeish, Barber, and Dornhoff. McLeish comes up with a puck from the draw. Robert checking him. McLeish still battling, and finally Gabriel pokes it away. Dornhofer fell and is getting up very slowly. He fell all by himself and either hit something on the ice or just lost his balance, and he was cringing as he got to his feet. But apparently he's all right. Long shot in by Gabriel. Dornhofer is there. Martin on him. Dumps it back to the corner. Perreault to Carrier. The shot, stick save, and Perreault covers that rebound. There really wasn't much of a rebound. It went straight down, and he got the glove right on top of it.
The importance of the goaltender keeping his stick on the ice. Perron didn't see that puck all the way in until it hit the stick, and he very quickly dropped on it. The play just before on Gavermont, when he shot that puck in, he had Perreault right beside him, and possession of the puck is the name of the game, and I thought he should have given that little pass and let him lug it rather than giving him the possession of the puck over to Philadelphia.
Face off to the right of Bernie Perron, who's got a minor repair to make there on the end of his stick. I guess some tape coming off, getting some help from referee Hood. And ready to go.
In the second period, Flyers won 16 face-offs, the Sabres 12.
Bobby Clark won 7 of 11. 14 for 22 in the game, and Ted was talking about possession. Flyers have had more of it. Here's Rick Martin. And Martin dumps it back to the net to Robert. Robert trying to get it to Carrier. Carrier broke into the slot. He'll have to hustle back. Martin has his position covered, and Gavermo intercepts the pass anyway. Dumping it back in. Jimmy Watson to Van Impe. Van Impe up the boards to Dornhofer, leaving it for Rick McLeish. McLeish stick handling, met by Carrier, pokes it away. Stanfield starts. Martin back by himself. Big shot, stick save by Perron, steering it over the glass as Martin unloaded one of those cannon shots. 17:53 to go in the third period. The score, Philadelphia 1 and Buffalo nothing.
Watch as Toro demonstrates the only more that's three mores in one. First, it's a maneuverable rear bagger. Second, a mulching mower that makes fine mulch from leaves and lawn clippings. Third, when you need it, a regular mower that disperses grass to the side. The 3-in-1 mower. Only Toro has it. Haven't you done without a Toro long enough?
Along the Flyer bench, a little concern. Looks like Larry Carrier, who had a good chance in front, but they didn't get the puck to him soon enough. Stanfield trying to center, lost his balance and went behind the Flyer goal. Lorentz walks in front, the shot, score! Jerry Korath from Jim Lorentz, who made a real good play out of that corner, Ted, to make the pass, and the defenseman gambling in there as Carrier had done minutes ago, and this time it paid off.
And that's the importance of the possession of that puck in your end, and all of the Buffalo players emptied the bench. Here's the play out to Korath, and he put it right along the ice. It looked like a possibility that Perron might have been screened a little bit on this. We'll take a look. Ted Harris in front of the net might have screened him. The puck was right along the ice on the short side. There's Perron. He noticed he looked to his left to see if he could pick up the flight of that puck. When he moved to the left, it probably pulled him away from that post just enough for Korab to put it in there.
Lawrence and Spencer get the assist at 2:18. Korab's second goal of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And it's a 1-1 hockey game. And it's been a tight one all the way, but a wide-open first period, a close-checking second period, and Buffalo finally gets on the scoreboard. A long shot by Dornhofer is caught by Desjardins. He holds on with Clark, hoping he'll drop it for him, but he won't.
You notice who was right on the doorstep? Clark. He was looking for it.
Yeah. He just looked like he said to Jerry, come on, Jerry, go ahead and drop it. See how quick I can get it behind you. 1-1, and Buffalo breaks the ice here. Bud Chimlak, the Sabres general manager, getting back to his seat from between period activities, and I'm sure a little happier now than he was before that period began. A shot blocked in front by Gavremont. There's a high drive. Went up off somebody into the seats. Leach really letting a blast go, and one hopes that nobody was hurt up there in the seats from that shot, because that was a zinger.
Buffalo a little bit careless there. Here again, we'll see Clark going right back to the front of that net, but Buffalo were a little careless, just throwing that puck off the boards, and it went right out to Leach perfectly in the slot, and he can fire them, and he just got it a little bit too high.
It may have grazed off the mask of Desjardins, although he didn't react like it that it had hit him, but it went sailing up over the glass up into the end seats. All right, from the face-off, the Flyers trying to get it, but it's poked out by Danny Gare. Clark got the draw back, but Gare swiftly jumped in and poked it out of the Buffalo zone. Danny Gare, Craig Ramsey, and Don Luce against Clark, Ross Lonsberry, and Reg Leach. Leach has the only Flyer goal. His lead pass for Lonsberry, not far off the mark, but Gavremont gets there now to poke it away. Big jostle on Gavremont. Number 22, 6'2", 190-pounder. DuPont's shot is blocked by Danny Gare. Gare coming out the right side has Ramsey and Luce ahead of him, so he fires it off the back glass to the Flyer zone, and the Sabres change on the move. Luce steals an errant pass, and he's checked by Joe Watson before he can make a play. Korab waiting for his mates to get onside, flips the puck into Philadelphia territory. DuPont to Barber. Barber checked by Robert. Perreault skipping in. Perreault trying to get control. He does. A backhander wide, and Joe Watson forced him away from the net. Robert checks Leach. This is McLeish. McLeish around the boards for Bill Barber. Barber, good move to catch up, and Korab gambling down the boards, battling with him, still checking against Barber, and the puck poked into the Buffalo zone. Desjardins back for it, giving it quickly to Schoenfeld. To Martin. Martin, a hurried pass picked off by Barber. Barber has to go back with it with Dornhofer and McLeish offside. Now McLeish fires it back into the Sabre zone. Schoenfeld up the boards for Robert. It got by him. It's Jimmy Watson. A shot blocked by Perreault. McLeish trying to get it to Dornhofer. Schoenfeld picked that off. Watson a blast over the shoulder of Desjardins wide. Rick Martin got the rebound, tried to send Robert in, and Ed Van Impe, perfectly positioned, broke that up. What a hip check by Korab on Dornhofer. Barber followed the puck in. Schoenfeld takes him out of the play. And it's held for a face-off in the Buffalo zone. 15-14 to go in the third period with the score. The Buffalo Sabres won, the Philadelphia Flyers won.
I'm a ball player, and I get to do commercials. But when I opened my own restaurant last year, I faced the same problem as any new businessman: how to reach people. The Yellow Pages helped put my restaurant on the map, and it's still the biggest part of our advertising. If you want to go into business, the Yellow Pages can help you too, even if your name's not Johnny Bench.
Let your fingers do the walking. It's a snap. Advertise in the Yellow Pages.
Good hip check here by Jerry Korab on Gary Dornhofer as he comes in. Gary's anticipating it, was ready for it, but Jerry got down underneath him, and those things take a lot of steam out of you, and particularly in a hot building like this today, this afternoon, Tim.
Flyers control the face-off. Zaleski backhands to Kindrachuk. He takes a hit from Carriere. Brian Spencer, far corner, Dave Schultz gives him a bump, and they'll get another face-off. Korab 6'3", 215-pounder. We talked about Gavermo, 6'2", close to 200 pounds. Lee Fogelin, who hasn't seen action, is another big kid, 6 feet, 200-pounder. Schoenfeld, 6'2", 210. Bill Height, 6'3", 215. They're all built like linebackers. Carrier, 6'1", 190. And that gives the Buffalo Sabres a lot of muscle in their end. Bill Height working with Kindrachuk doing the forechecking. This is a good forechecking line. He comes out with a puck but lost control of it. Carrier can't get it out. Ed Van Impe keeps it in. Height. It bounces in front. Schultz the shot. Just saved. Height knocks it right back to his goaltender. Desjardins very calmly fielded that puck.
Tim, that's basically the difference between the two teams, and Phil was talking about it. The Flyers, they complete the play. Now, here's the save by Desjardins, and it goes up, and he very wisely grabs hold of it here as it comes back down. Bill Height missed it. But the Buffalo team, as Phil was mentioning, a couple of the guys will win and anticipating that each other is going to do it, and they peel off, and then they let the Flyer player move out. Flyers don't do that. They move right in, and they complete the play. They don't have to hit him hard. They just take the man out and try to get the loose puck.
Well, that style contributed to their early 1-0 lead, but it's a 1-1 game now as we look at it from Jerry Desjardins' view. On that corner face-off, a little frightening, isn't it? It's shot over the Sabres blue line, and Schoenfeld trying to start Gare out of there. The pass too far. Bobby Clark trying to hit Lonsbury with a lead pass, and that went all the way down over the goal line, and will be an icing infraction against the Philadelphia Flyers. Clark, Lonsbury, and Leach against the loose Gare and Ramsey line for the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres, as we mentioned, in 4 starts this season against Philadelphia, were beaten 3 times and tied once. They have never won a game in the Spectrum. They have not won against Philadelphia in 9 regular season games dating back to 1973. They won that game 6-3. Late season in 73. A long shot by Gare. That's wide about a foot. Schoenfeld keeping it in. DuPont comes out with it to Lonsbury. Lonsbury dumps it into the center ice zone. Schoenfeld fielded it. Now a pass intended for Gare just too far. Joe Watson behind his own net gives it to DuPont. DuPont up the boards for Bobby Clark, but Ramsey cut him off. Korab with the puck. Jerry Korab drops it back to Schoenfeld, the 22-year-old captain of the Sabres. He's checked as he let the pass go. Joe Watson brings it over. He's dumped. There'll be a penalty to Don Luce for tripping Joe Watson. 13:45 to go in the 3rd period, and these penalties are big. The score, Philadelphia 1 and Buffalo 1.
Minutes hang like hours when someone's waiting for you. If you only had an Accutron watch, you'd have the right time to within 1 minute a month without ever winding. And you wouldn't get growled at so often.
Don Luce in the penalty box, very unhappy. Very important 3rd period with the score tied 1-1. This penalty could be a big one for him. It was one of those ones, Tim, I think in an important game like this that you can almost let go. It was a questionable call, but Bruce Hood, who's been doing a good game all afternoon, felt that it should have been called, and he's the boss.
Hooking at 6:15, and Luce didn't argue that one quite as vehemently. The last time he complained, he got a 10-minute misconduct penalty for his pains, and he is just too sorely missed for that to happen again. So he'll sit this one out a little more penitently, perhaps. Clark and Stanfield on the face-off along the blue line. Flyers playing 6 men against 5. A great opportunity here in the 3rd period. They control that draw. Bobby Clark. Blade missed the pass, so Clark goes and gets it. As usual, he's playing all over the ice. Blade over the blue line. Fakes the shot. Now trying to go around Schoenfeld. Can't do it. He wipes him out, but Clark goes for the puck. Clark back of the goal. Out for McLeish. McLeish to Barber. Barber walking in, throws it in for Clark. Score! Bobby Clark from Bill Barber as Clark jams it underneath Jerry Desjardins on the perfect feed from Bill Barber. And the Flyers go back in front 2-1.
He put it right along the ice on the Flyers side. That's a play that they use a lot. Here's the short pass by Barber as Jerry Korab goes out. Clark gets it, moves just a little bit, and lets that puck go on the backhand. Here's another look at it. There's the play. Good play by Barber. There it is. As Clark puts it right along the ice on the far side. Looking from behind Desjardins. Here it is again. Here's Clark. We can all second guess. Right. That stick right along the ice.
He gave just one little move on the stick before he let the puck go, and Desjardins went for that, and that's when he slipped it under. Barber checked by Gavermo. The puck in the Buffalo zone once again. Now out over the blue line, taken by McLeish. McLeish, Clement, and Barber. McLeish trying to hit Clement with a pass, but it would have been offside, so he just let it go in. Height gives it to Martin. Martin rink wide for Robert. Robert ahead for Perreault. Too far. Dupont shoots it right back in again. 12:43 left in regulation time. Clark from Barber and McLeish at 6:43 of this third period. Clark's fourth playoff goal. The 1975 Stanley Cup playoffs. 2-1, Buffalo in front. Here comes McLeish with Korab trying to stop him. McLeish over to Clement off the boards. Clement lost his balance. McLeish dumps it to the corner. Barber going for it behind the Buffalo net. Schoenfeld and René Robert there. Robert, number 14, turned back by Clement. Robert in front of his own net gives it to Martin off the boards. Martin in full stride over the line. Big slap shot deflected by Ed Van Impe high up into the second gallery. So no damage done there by the Buffalo Sabres on that foray, and Clark's goal, a big one with 12:02 remaining to be played in this third period.
Ed Van Impe, probably one of the stronger men, certainly one of the strongest men in the National Hockey League. Defensively, not a great offensive player, but he does it all perfectly defensively.
Bobby Clark, who scored the goal, did most of the work to set it up on that power play, chasing the puck into the corner. His man was taken off the play. He got control. He did the skating around back of the net, fed it out to Barber, got himself in position for the goal. It was a typical, ordinary Bobby Clark effort. Here's a break for Dave Schultz, one man back. Gavermo, the drive, a leg save by Desjardins. He holds on, and a good low, hard shot from Dave Schultz.
The hometown fans here, all up, half of them giving Dave a standing ovation on his effort here. Desjardins blocks the shot here, gets away from him. Zaleski coming in there for that rebound, but Desjardins quickly gloved it, and we have the face off to his left.
Reg Leach and Bobby Clark for the Flyers, Jerry Korab for Buffalo. The Flyers led 1-0 coming into this third period. Korab at 2:18 and Clark at 6:43. Scoring, Kindrachuk, Zaleski, and Schultz against Stanfield, Spencer, and Jim Lorentz. The Sabres without the injured Rick Dudley, a 31-goal man. Out with a knee injury suffered in the first game of the series against Montreal. Lloyd Smith said he hopes he'll be ready to play on Tuesday night in Buffalo. Game 3. The fourth game will be Thursday night in Buffalo. Spencer handed it right to Kindrachuk, a blind pass in his own zone. Kindrachuk pinned there, but kicking the puck around, he's lost his stick. Still scrapping and working there against Stanfield. Bill Height dumps it behind his net to Gavermo, up the boards for Jim Lorentz. Lorentz to Stanfield, backhand pass for Spencer. Spencer was offside as he took the pass, and the whistle blows. 11:12 remaining in the third period with the score. The Philadelphia Flyers 2, the Buffalo Sabres 1.
Pride, the very cornerstone of a new automobile. Cordova, the new small Chrysler. Here is the warmth of thickly cushioned contour seats, available even in fine Corinthian leather. So very luxurious, yet surprisingly affordable. Cordova is engineered with great pride. Be a Chrysler. Cordova, the new small Chrysler.
Clark against Don Luce. Luce gets this one to Korab, to Schoenfeld, lets the shot go right at the defenseman Joe Watson. And Reg Leach slaps it out. Clark coming after Jerry Korab in the Sabre zone. The pass to Ramsey. Ramsey over the blue line. Clark doing the back checking. Joe Watson is there to help out. Sabres keep it in. Schoenfeld shot deflected wide. Clark racing after it to the near point. Korab got a stick on it. The puck went over the boards and out of play. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is KYW-TV3 in Philadelphia.
Tim Ryan with Ted Lindsay, Brian McFarland, and Phil Esposito at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. A 2-1 hockey game. The champion Flyers in front. Bobby Clark scrapping for that puck. Flips it out over his own blue line, and Jim Schoenfeld of the Sabres knocks it in again. Danny Gare can't make the play as DuPont had his stick between his skates and now has the puck underneath him. Luce telling Bruce Hood that should have been tripping DuPont against Gare, but I don't think Hood realized that the stick was in his skates.
What he was arguing here about is he pulled the puck underneath him. Watch right here when he falls. Right here, when DuPont falls, you see the right hand go out. See him pull it under?
Right.
That's what he was arguing about. He wanted to...
He had an argument on both counts there.
Yeah, I think so.
There definitely was a trip with his blade of the stick in the skates of Danny Gare, but Bruce Hood was trying to see through the traffic. I had my eye on him. He just simply didn't see that. And I guess he also missed the scoop there of the puck by DuPont, which is a delay of game penalty if it's called. Joe Watson to Reggie Leach. Leach breaking out. He's got Clark trailing. Clark right back on the ice, and a good hit on Leach by Jim Schoenfeld with a hip check. Leach picks up the loose puck. Left side for Rick McLeish. McLeish come on to replace Bobby Clark. Gone for that face-off. Schoenfeld tied up by Leach, and McLeish, Danny Gare all there, and they hold it. They face it off in the Sabre zone to the right of Jerry Desjardins.
Leach's problem on that play was the fact that he was admiring his... Right here you'll see Schoenfeld come across. He was being bothered there by Luce, and it just distracted him enough to give Schoenfeld the time to move right in there. It was a good check, good clean check.
McLeish on the draw against Perreault. Perreault, Robert, Martin, the French connection line for the Buffalo Sabres. They have been held in check here today. The only goal scored by Jerry Korab, and that was with the Lawrence Spencer unit on the ice. They got the assists on the play. Martin inside the Flyer line, taken out of the play by Van Impe, and McLeish rings it around the boards for Barber. Got away from him. Carrier keeps it in. The pass just ahead of Rick Martin. That could have been dangerous. Martin and Van Impe go to the corner together. McLeish comes over to help out Robert, and it's pried loose by Perreault. Perreault to the blue line. Carrier shoots, and it's deflected just wide. Perreault with a puck into the slot behind Robert. Carrier hustling. Can't get there to break for McLeish. On a breakaway, Rick McLeish. A big save by Jerry Desjardins. He got that arm up on it, the left arm, the catching hand, to rob Rick McLeish in alone. Jimmy Watson gives it to McLeish again. Rink wide, the Dornhofer cuts into the middle. Three Sabres waiting for him. He's knocked down, and the puck loose, and Desjardins holding it up there. And Jerry Desjardins comes up with the most important save of the game thus far, with his team trailing 2-1 here in the third. Perreault stopped at the blue line by Andre DuPont. They got a piece of him and forced the offside.
Where the goaltender stands his ground here. Here's the breakaway by McLeish, and the way he can skate, nobody is going to catch him. Desjardins, watch him standing right here, and he gets it with the left arm, deflecting it up over the net. Rick could have gotten that just a little bit higher. He picked the right spot, but it was a good save by the goaltender, Desjardins, and this keeps his club in the game. They would have been behind 3-1, but right now it's 2-1.
8:59 to go in regulation time. Remember, there are no ties in Stanley Cup play. If it's tied at the end of the third period, we'll have overtime following the normal intermission. And then sudden death prevails in the overtime periods. But it is 2-1. The Flyers on top. Long shot by Schoenfeld. Hit Joe Watson. The rebound, Spencer shot it wide. At the blue line, Korab waiting for it. He's a left-hand shot. And it's tougher for him to set up over that right point. But he kept it in. Lawrence and Joe Watson bump together. Schoenfeld keeps it in momentarily. But off the leg of Dave Schultz. And they had another near breakaway, but Korath was there. Zaleski shot it right at Schoenfeld. Schultz is okay. Stanfield can't get it out. Spencer with it off the leg. Schoenfeld again ahead for Stanfield, getting control. Joe Watson coming after him. Stanfield getting through. Throws it into the slot. DuPont shoots it out. Korath with Schultz right on his tail. Schoenfeld takes over, shooting it into the Flyer zone. Sabres change their defense on the fly. DuPont off the boards for Schultz. Kinderchuk, Schultz, and Zaleski for Philadelphia against Stanfield, Spencer, and Lorentz. Stanfield intended for Spencer, too well covered. Here's a chance for Lorentz. A backhand shot wide. Centering try by Spencer. Rebounded all the way to Gabriel. A shot is wide. Bill Height, he takes a shot. Knocked down in front. Buffalo getting some pressure on them. Joe Watson comes up with a puck. Gives it to Zaleski. Zaleski trying to break through. He's sandwiched by Gabriel and Height. Schultz keeps it in. Schultz wheeling along inside the blue line. He backs into the corner. Clark set by Gabriel, but Zaleski has the puck. Don Zaleski checked by Bill Height. Clark comes in to help. And the help for a face-off in the Buffalo zone. 7:26 to go in the third period with the score. Philadelphia 2, Buffalo 1.
Since 1905, Dayton Thoroughbred tires have been growing in popularity year after year. There must be a reason why. There is. When you come to Dayton for tires, you get much more. Not just a great tire, such as this Daytona steel-belted Radial XS, but you will meet a real tire pro. A Dayton Tire Pro will help you get the best deal on just the right tire. Join the switch to Dayton. You'll get a great tire from a real tire pro.
Coach Fred Shero walking up and down behind that bench, giving encouragement to his players, Tim.
Clark got this draw. Jimmy Watson shot it wide off the backboards. Craig Ramsey in control. Gives it to Danny Gare. Gare up the boards, nobody there. Bobby Clark arrives at the puck as he usually does and shoots it in again. Schoenfeld. Korath. Danny Gare's pass too far for Luce. Got between the legs of Ed Van Impe, but Leach is there. He bangs it down into the Buffalo zone. 7 minutes exactly remaining in the third period. Korath out for Don Luce. Luce to Ramsey. Good pass. Craig Ramsey takes the shot off the stick of Ed Van Impe. Van Impe comes out with the puck, gives it to Jimmy Watson. Watson rink wide for Reggie Leach. Leach with one man back. Clark is trailing. Poke check on him. Another one as Schoenfeld did the defensive job. Leach keeps possession. Threw it across in front. Nobody there. He threw it to his own wing. And he was already over on the left side. Ramsey intended for Korath ahead of him. And McLeish picks it up for the Flyers. McLeish gets away from Danny Gare. Still has it. The shot. Saved by Jordan. He nearly lost the rebound to Dornhofer. He took the jab at it, but Jordan had the puck under his pad.
He made the save, but the puck dropped, and Dornhofer was right in that crease, ready for that rebound. Here it comes, and you see the puck drop down, and Dornhofer moving in there very quickly. See, we can see that puck drop from behind, right between his legs. He makes the save. His pad was dropping, or blocking it, his right pad, but Dornhofer was there if it was loose.
2-1 hockey game. The Flyers leading. You talked about Coach Fred Shero. We'd like to say hello to the Islanders coach Al Arbor in the hospital in traction for that recurring back problem of Al's. I know he's watching today, and we wish him the best, as all hockey fans around the league do. The job he did this year. Tomorrow, the New York Rangers have scheduled a press conference to name their new coach. Word is it will not be John Ferguson. Loose puck in front. McLeish gets control. Checked by Robert, and Carrier comes out. Here's Rennie Robert. Robert has Perreault with him. On the backhand, the shot deflected by Joe Watson off the glass. Philadelphia defense has been rock solid in there against this French connection line. They pin it for a face-off in the Flyer zone.
This is what I was talking about earlier, Tim. The Philadelphia players, they take you out. The same thing there. They got that stick in front of Robert's backhand shot, deflecting it up over the net, making sure that Bernie didn't have to make that save. And Buffalo had to be a little bit concerned, even with the hex of Perron, I guess, because in the last, he's only allowed 5 goals in the last 4 games, so he's kind of stingy in that department.
Yes, he's been plenty hot. mentioned the Rangers announcing a new coach tomorrow. John Ferguson, the ex-Montreal star, has apparently turned down their offer. It will not be Ferguson. We don't know who it will be at this moment, but Ranger fans will find out tomorrow. Rick McLeish shoots it into the Buffalo zone. Desjardins holding it up there for Korab. Korab around to Rick Martin. Martin rink-wide feed for Robert off the boards and his skates. Lost control, and Jimmy Watson is there. Robert ties him up. Harrell trying to get the puck. He overskated it, and McLeish comes out and passes to Dornhofer. Back for Rick McLeish. McLeish takes the shot. Just wide. Good low shot to the wide side. Puck comes in front, and Perreault is back there to take it away. Flyers have that little extra jump on Buffalo in this period since they got that second goal. Lawrence, as Perreault was stopped by McLeish. Martin ran into the referee. Bruce Hood went flying. The puck in the Flyers zone. Van Impe dumps it back into Buffalo territory. Rolls over the goal line, touched by Carrier, and icing called against the Flyers. Carrier hurt there as he tumbled into the end boards to get that icing call. 4:45 remaining in the third period with the score. The Flyers 2, the Sabres 1.
Listen to the sound of, you can hear the taste of, you can feel it crunch, extra crispy.
Crunchy and golden on the outside, tender and juicy on the inside.
Extra crispy from Kentucky Fried Chicken, extra crispy. It's finger licking good, and you gotta say, hey, it's extra crispy. It's a Kentucky Fried Chicken day.
Real race after that puck. Here's Carrier being chased by Clements, and he just lost his footing as he cut a little bit too much on the angle, but fortunately did not hurt himself. He was just stung there a little bit, picked it up, and sure will be out walking up and down behind the bench now, trying to work that out a little bit.
Joe Watson knocking the puck out over his own blue line. He picks it up inside again as Bill Height tied up Zaleski. We've got Clark at center with Clement on the left wing, and now Clark goes off. Kindrachuk comes on. Clark was on for that face-off as usual in his own zone. Bill Height ahead for Jim Lorentz. Zaleski checking him. Lorentz sidesteps a hit from Joe Watson and forces the puck to the corner. DuPont around the boards, too far for Clement. Gavremont keeps it in, but it's right to Zaleski. Zaleski and Clement with Kindrachuk. Zaleski watched by Bill Height, who stops him, and Don Luce brings it off his own backboard. DuPont comes in deep to get it. DuPont for Kindrachuk too far. Ryan Spencer, number 21, checked by Zaleski, and Zaleski happy enough to get a face-off. Looking up at that clock, 3:56 remaining in the third period, and time is now very much the factor. The Sabres trailing 2-1. They've got to get something going, and in the past few minutes, Ted, there's been no indication that they will. And Flyers have had that little extra jump on them.
They have keep bottling him up. Even Perreault on that last time he tried to make the rush. McLeish checked him right at center ice, stopping him quickly. And that's what they do. They don't give you a chance to really get moving.
Games 3 and 4 will be in Buffalo Tuesday and Thursday nights. If there's a fifth game in the series, we'll be back here with it next Sunday afternoon, 3:30 Eastern Time on NBC. Clark, Lonsberry, Leach against Luce, Gare, and Ramsey. And Luce wins this draw. Schoenfeld for Ramsey, but Leach took it away from him. Clark, good pass to Lonsberry. Lonsberry, the shot deflected by Korab. Bounces to the far side. Ramsey is there. Away from Reggie Leach, back behind his own goal. Korab in the corner. Korab shakes off Ross Lonsberry. The pass behind Danny Gare. Don Luce follows on an offside pass is charged there against Buffalo. 3:30 remaining. And the Sabres up against it here. They did not score until the third period. They got it early in the third at 2:18 after Leach had given Philadelphia a 1-0 lead at 8:24 of the second period.
Fred Sherrill putting Don Zaleski on that right side in place of Leach and changing his defense. He'll keep as many fresh men out there as he possibly can.
Clark against Luce again on the draw. Again, Luce gets it. Don Luce. Schoenfeld shooting it into the Flyer zone, and Andre DuPont being checked there by Don Luce, but he controlled it to Lonsbury. Lonsbury to Selesky, wide open on the other wing. He gives it to Joe Watson, back to Selesky. The shot wide by about 15 feet. Danny Gare out to Ramsey. Ramsey and Luce, 2-on-2. DuPont and McLeish back. The backhand shot wide. Luce racing after his own rebound. McLeish got there ahead of him. Ahead for Selesky, too far. Luce gave McLeish a good bump. Here comes Danny Gare back. He gives it to Ramsey. Ramsey takes a sliding hook check to Joe Watson. Ramsey can't get loose, and it's taken by Rick McLeish. 2:41 to play in the third period. McLeish to Lonsbury to Selesky, lost in balance. It's taken by Perro. He's checked by Lonsbury. McLeish has it and shoots it in to Buffalo territory. 2:28 to go. Schoenfeld carrying the puck down the left side. Martin ahead of him. Robert is offside on the right wing. 2:20 remaining. Face-off coming up at the Flyer blue line, and we'll be watching to see Jerry Desjardins come out. We saw Bobby Clark checking that clock. Now a little word with Rick McLeish.
He works just as hard on the bench, Tim, as he does on that ice. He's up shouting encouragement, watching that clock, trying to kill every second they possibly can, not wanting to give Buffalo any opportunity at all, because they can score goals, but they haven't proven it so far in this series.
Perro, Robert, and Martin, the French connection against McLeish, Barber, and Dornhofer. Red Charo has juggled his line somewhat, not as much as he has done in recent games, but as usual, he's mixed them up a little bit. Here's Perro. Perro, the shot, not much on it, handled by Bernie Perron, who gives it to Jimmy Watson, can't get it out. Perro blocked it. Martin trying to keep it in. Good effort by Carrier to keep it in. A bouncing puck. Van Imp knocks it out of there, down into the Buffalo zone. 1:57 to play in the third period. Jocelyn Gavremont for Carrier. Carrier is met by Kindrachuk, but he got it to Robert. Fakes the shot. Lost control. Gets it again. Martin. Diving check on it by Ed Van Imp. Good effort there. Kindrachuk comes out 2-on-1 with Dornhofer. Gavremont back. Backhand shot. An arm save by Desjardins on Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk after his own rebound. Carrier up the boards for René Robert. Flips it right back to his own goalie. And that gives Gavremont a chance to start out. 1:23 to go. Flyers lead it 2-1. They lead the series 1-0. They can take a 2-0 lead into Buffalo. They can hold on here. 1:15 to play. As Lonsbury dumps it back to the Buffalo line. We'll be watching goalie Desjardins. Floyd Smith will take him out shortly. Korab over the center line. Stick handling. And it's offside at the Flyer line. Rick Martin a half a stride ahead.
Tim, just how well the Flyers are playing shots on goal. The Buffalo have only had 3 shots at Perron in this third period.
Jerry Korab took a high stick from Clark, an accidental one, as Clark checking him, and you can see there's Jerry Desjardins. Korab and Clark talking about it. He's all right, apparently. Caught it up in the facial area, and Bobby was right there to say sorry about that, Jerry. The stick came up off Korab's stick, and nice show of sportsmanship by both players there. 1 minute exactly remaining in this third period. Desjardins still in goal. He's got his mask perched on the top of his head, which he'll pull down when play begins, and he'll be racing to that Buffalo bench if the Sabres can get the puck in to the Flyer zone. Lawrence and Spencer on the wing. Stanfield at center, number 17. Schoenfeld and Korab. For Philadelphia, Bobby Clark, as you might expect for this faceoff. Barber, Lonsbury, Van Imp, and Jimmy Watson. Flyers protecting a 2-1 lead. Philadelphia trying to make it 2 wins in a row in this final series. And Clark got that faceoff. Van Imp can't get it out. Sabres keep it in, but Stanfield checked by Clark. Barber breaking out. The goalie is still in. Korab takes him out of the play. Up come the sticks. And back comes Spencer, but he's stopped by Brian Spencer. By Van Imp, pardon me. Spencer by Van Imp. Here's Spencer. Van Imp pokes it up to Lonsbury. Goalie is still in as the Sabres can't get control here. 30 seconds left. Now he comes out as Korab shoots it in. Perron cut it off for Jimmy Watson. He hits Bobby Clark trying to clear it. Korab can't keep it in as Clark stops him. Korab off the boards to get people onside. Spencer shoots it in. 15 seconds left. Van Imp flips it out. Knocked down by Schoenfeld. to Lawrence. Here's a chance for Barb to drive wide. Off the glass, rebound, 5 seconds left. Spencer checked by Lonsbury. Clark comes over. Gabriel shoots it as the siren's down. The game is over. The Philadelphia Flyers have won their second straight game here at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. They take commanding 2-0 lead into the second part of this Stanley Cup final in Buffalo. Games 3 and 4 Tuesday and Thursday night, and the champion Flyers go in there in command of the series with a 2-game lead as they try for their second consecutive Stanley Cup victory. The last team to do that, the Montreal Canadiens, 1968 and 1969. And the Flyers, who won their first last year, would dearly like to make it 2 in a row. A battle between two expansion teams in this Stanley Cup Championship Series. Buffalo, in just their 5th season of competition, here trying to win their first Stanley Cup. And the Flyers take a 2-1 victory here today and a 2-0 lead in the series as it ships to the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo. Reggie Leach opened the scoring in the second period at 8:24 from Clark and Lonsbury. Jerry Korab tied it up in the third period at 2:18 from Lawrence and Spencer, and Bobby Clark got the winning goal from Barber and McLeish at 6:43, and he turned in another spectacular game. Today's Stanley Cup playoff game has been brought to you by your Chrysler Plymouth dealers, who invite you to